Welcome back to Texas. Today, what we're going to do today is we're going to do our purification. And we have two different things. We have the ozonator filter, and the ozonator is up there on the board right there. And we got the inverter all hooked up. It's hooked to the battery, so we should have AC power, and we're going to try that out. Now then, we have a saying in Texas, if you don't like the weather, wait 2 hours. So right now it's pouring down raining, and I'm underneath these tents. The tents that we were using earlier to protect us from the sunlight, we're now using to protect us from the rain. We had a big cold front that came in last night, and it's been doing nothing but raining ever since. And so hopefully I can get all this done without the camera fogging up from the humidity. But there's a few things we have to do. We've got to prep the tank. We've got to get these chains ready. We've got to drop this into the tank. And then we have to hook this hose up to the ozonator, the output of the ozonator. All right, so what I'm going to do is my favorite tool, of course, is my cordless with the unibit, because with the unibit, big whole bunch of water just came down off the tent. With the unibit, we can make whatever size hole we want. So what we got to do is we got to put a hanger inside the tank, and so let's go do that right now. Ladder around to this side. A little crowded trying to fit everything in here. Oh. Plus work under the tents. I'm going to drill 2 holes. I need one for the hose, and I need one hose for one hole for the hanger. So the angle works good. I'm just going to put the hose down here. It doesn't really matter. So the hanger is just a stainless steel eye hook. We've got 2 bolts. I'm going to put one bolt on first. And then another thing I want to show you, another thing I want to show you is the float switch is in the up position and the water from the well has stopped. This tank is full. It actually took about 7.5 hours because the rains came in and the clouds. So it took a little bit longer than it should have. All right, so this is the next piece of equipment we got to put in. It has a little aerator that disperses the ozone. This is a filter. It actually filters your water for you, as well as the external filter that we're going to be installing in the horizontal pumping system. I'll tighten this down. Now that it comes with the chain, if I can find the one end of the chain, it comes with a hook on the chain so that you can crimp it onto this one, and then you just extend it down. I'm going to go ahead and crimp it because on another system I didn't crimp it down, and the whole thing fell inside the tank. There it is. Alright, we're in good shape. So you saw that had a loop. And so they send you these neat little zip ties. And so what you do, you're going to have this hose. I'll push the hose back up through the hole at the top. And try to get this position so I can drop it down into the tank. And work around my tip. So I'm going to let that sink to about 6 inches off the bottom. Let it go all the way down. It's resting on the bottom. I'm going to pull it back up. About 6 inches. Loop the chain through the eye hook and then use the zip ties to zip tie the chain together. I'm going to put two on just to be on the safe side. Alright, so that's done. This is a stainless steel chain, so it doesn't really matter if it goes into the water. And then I'm going to take my hose, come up through this other hole, and push it through the other hole, and then I'm going to take it over to the ozonator. Now I had a valve. It's in my pocket. So this is a one-way valve. What happens is when this ozonator is running, it wants to suck a lot of moisture back out of this tank into here. And so basically we'll open this up there's not a whole lot to it. It's just a pump. As you can see, there's not a whole lot to it. This is ABS plastic tubing. It's got a UV light source inside it. This tells you if the light is working. This is nothing but just an air pump. It's a double-sided air pump, so it pushes a bunch of air. And we're actually going to make one of these in the lab so you can see how it's done. But we're going to use stainless steel. Stainless steel is a whole much better product than this ABS. So, all we got to do is have a power source. We have a power source down here. And let me cut this tubing and then install this one-way valve. Here's our tubing coming out. You know which way to put the valve in. All you got to do is blow on it. So I'm blowing on the clear section, and there's the gray section. Can't blow through the gray section. So the gray section goes up towards the tank. Not a lot of pressure coming out of this. Clear section goes over to the ozonator. Then all you have to do is hook it to, I don't know if you can see it back here in this little barn. I'll take a picture, put all these on the PowerPoint for you. Now that, before I had a lot of moisture because it was so hot. Now I have a lot of moisture because it's so humid. That just goes on like that. And then I'm going to reposition this to the other side of the tank, the ladder. And then I'm going to take the camera off of the tripod and move it over to where you can see inside the tank, see the ozone being produced. And then you also can see the float switch that's now up in the up position so the well has stopped running. The water level is about to here, and the float switch is doing its job. Everything seems to be doing its job. Okay, so we want to turn the inverter on. At a nice click, we're going to turn our power supplies on. I hope I turn that switch in the right direction. All right, there's your light. We're producing ozone. Look at that. That came on just fine. So here's our inverter. It's producing 120 volts. And then this is our AC distribution system. Let me get this out of your way. I'm going to come a little closer to the camera. It's actually a pretty easy system to install. And so we have our AC distribution system. You can add more breakers in each breaker to another one of these circuits. And so you can actually have quite a bit of power. This is 2,500 watts at 120 volts. So I forget how many amps that is. Take 2,500 divided by 120, and so that'll give you about 20 amps, I think. And we'll close this lid for producing ozone. And so I'm now going to take the camera off the tripod, walk up the ladder and look inside the tank so that you can see the ozone being produced. Give me 2 seconds. All right, so we're now walking over and we're going to be looking down inside the tank here in just a minute. All right, all those bubbles are ozone, and you can see that float switch. It's in the background. That float switch is in the up position, so it turned off the pump. But you can see how easy it is to hook this up and have ozone. You have to be real careful. That's a lot of ozone coming off this unit, and ozone is toxic, and so I'll probably get dizzy just standing above this entrance. But we're going to have very, very pure water here in just a little while. It won't take long with that much ozone to clean out this tank. It's producing so much ozone, I'll probably put a vent on this tank just to keep the pressure down and not wear out the system. But that's it. You got pure water now. Actually, after about an hour. But and then it's very potable, very drinking. But I also put half a cup of chlorine in here just to in case there was any contaminants in the tank that we didn't know about. So now we have these different connections we have to hook up, and then we have our horizontal water system, which is all this other equipment over here, that pressure tank and then our pressure pump. So I'm going to put the camera back where it was, and lots of goats wanting to help us today. So. And that's how quick and easy it is to hook up an ozonator system, you know, for a water tank. What's nice about the water tank now is it's going to create a tremendous amount of pressure, and I'm going to do that here in just a few minutes. I'm going to turn the camera off and reposition it, and then we're going to create a pressurized water system just off this tank. And then we're going to create another horizontal water system. Rain just got me. Now we're going to have another horizontal water system that uses the pressure tank and the pressure pump. And then we're going to put this filter on it so we get extra filter. So we'll have, I'm going to add a water supply, water cutoff on this tank. That'll give us purified water. It won't give us filtered water. When we go through the pressure tank, we'll have purified water and we'll have filtered water. So let me turn this off. I'm going to reposition it, and then we're going to hook up this other water system. All right, I'm back. So we have a lot of different parts over here that we got to put together, and a lot of different sizes of piping. We've got a 2-inch pipe that has to come out of here, and we got to add a whole bunch of transition pieces. And so let's go ahead and just start putting it all together. I'm going to use a lot of glue and a lot of primer. Of course, one of my favorite tools is the Sawzall. We just need a couple of short nipples. So I've got all my different parts laid out here behind me. It shows how it all goes together. I've taken pictures of this, and I'll post it as a PowerPoint to the website or to YouTube. Clean these up a little bit. Put our primer on. And then our first piece is going to be this T. Go ahead and do all 3 ports. And then we have to have this 1-inch transition piece. Then we're going to add another valve. I like cutout valves. I put them in everywhere. Silver out. Just going to do this one side. And we can put this one on this side so it's out of the way of each other. Still raining. Move this short piece of pipe up. I hear more thunder. I'm getting ready to get some more rain. Get this grass out of my way. I want this turned up because that's where I'm taking my 1-inch pipe. I'm going to go ahead and put my 1-inch piece in. This is a 2-inch to a 1-inch adapter or reducer. Just squeeze it in. And put this on. Last piece. Then I'm going to put my valve on. Now this valve, you can actually turn it if you want. You can have it this way, which we'll probably, let's do it this way. It's out of our way of everything, and we can get to that valve pretty easily. Glue both ends. And then we're going to put that on. All we got to do is let that set up. Now then, we're ready to start going up with our 1-inch. We're gonna go get some. I'm gonna go get some 1-inch PVC pipe. I'll be right back. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to go from this up to another T, and we're going to tee off this way. We're also going to have a valve then coming out of it as it goes over to the pressure pump. And so we're going to build a little short piece right here, and then we'll ride around down low, go across, and then up and into the pressure pump. So this is going to take a lot of different parts to get over to that pressure pump that's over on that board. And then we'll get this all done right in here. Then we'll relocate over to the board and to this pressure tank to get all that hooked up. So we got to get everything primed again. Just prime them all. We're going to cut this into some several short pieces. The rain got all my pipe pretty dirty last night. And we want to keep down. We can keep down kind of low, you know, down around about here. We're just going to cut and build as we go. Nope, didn't prime this. And then we'll probably put some kind of support under here to support this up. Forgot what I was doing. Take another short piece. You'll see why I put all these valves in here in just a minute. I like valves. It lets you start and stop your work, but they also gave you a chance to do maintenance. They also, I call them isolation valves. So there's a valve. We can close that, and then we can continue working on this, and go ahead and open the valves up on this system, kick this one closed, and then we can go ahead and pressurize this and get water, purified water, coming out of our hose. So our next is going to be this piece, and then I have another isolation valve. I can either do the isolation valve in front or after. I'm going to do it after, because that way I can work from here up but still get water out of my system. And the lower we put this hose bib, the more, I'm going to put the hose bib over here to the side, and the lower we get this hose bib, the more pressure we're going to get out of the tank. My valve on top. Go. I need a T first. I hope y'all do prettier work than me. All right, so we have a hose bib adapter, and so we're going to want to put the hose bib in here. But what I always do first is my knees are going to be all dirty from the sand. What I do first is always hook this up. So I want to hook up, put the tape, the Teflon tape, remember, do it backwards. And if you put these two pieces together, you'll be able to line up your hose bib so it looks like it was done on purpose. Seems like that's as tight as it wants to go. So, put our primer on here. Put our adhesive. That's why you put these two pieces together first. That way you can adjust it whatever direction you want. Now we're going to put this short piece on, and then we're going to add our valve. More adhesive. I'm going to turn this valve out this way. Easy to get to. Alright, so now we can close this valve, and this valve, open this valve, and we're going to get water out of here. So let's see if it works. I'm going to let that glue set up because that's going to be a lot of pressure coming out of the top of that tank. And so we'll have to reposition the camera so you can see from here up, okay? Because we're going to be going in the top of the tank with this. And what I've done is I got some 1-inch here, and then it's going to go up and go into 1.5-inch pipe. And then I've got this piece that'll go on here, and then this can unscrew, and then I can add a massive sand filter, which is what I'm intend to do. So I can come out of here and go into here, circulate the water with a huge sand filter and get really pretty water. All right, let me go get some 1.5-inch pipe, and I'll be right back. I got some 1.5-inch pipe. Hopefully these fittings have set up long enough. All the valves are closed. I don't want any surprises, you know what I mean? I can go ahead and open this one up a little. Something happened. Oh, that's the wind. Look at that. Look at the pressure. That's just from the weight of the water in this tank. All right, so that's another reason why I like these tanks in the water system, horizontal system, not only to purify the water, but then it's a great way to pressurize it and get it to move through the system. And you won't have to use this electric motor pump that I have over here. This is just another system. I'm just trying to show you all different kinds of systems. Right now we have highly pressurized water. We can actually put a pressure gauge on that and see what that pressure is, and we'll probably do that here in a little bit. So I'm going to finish this up, and then we're going to go over to the horizontal system, which is this tank and that pump over there. Give me 2 seconds to relocate. Actually, I'm just going to readjust this camera a little bit so we can go from top to top. We got to get into that port way up there. I'm going to have to pull the camera back. I'm trying to keep the camera under the tent because we're going to get a big rainstorm at any moment. All right, I think we can see everything right there. Well, we can see kind of everything right there. I tripped over the wire, power cable. Sorry about that. A little confusion. All right, we're looking good. Got some dirt on the lens, but hey, we're out in the field. We're out here working. All right, let me try not to trip over anything. I picked up some more 1-inch PVC. I mean, yeah, 1 inch. I got the 1.5 inches, and so we're ready to go. One of the things we want to do, anytime we have a taped fitting, this is going to be a taped fitting up here. So we want to go ahead and thread it up. This is our Teflon tape. Get your channel locks and then tighten this up real good. A little bit bigger. Come on. Going to prime the fitting. And then I'm going to cut myself some PVC pipe. Now what I want to do, have this right here. I want to lift this up a little bit. I want to put this fitting here so that it lines up with this. I'm going to go ahead and cut this long. And then I'm going to put my 1 inch in, and then that'll tell me where to cut the pipe. There's the glue. And more glue. Always glue both ends. This one's ready. Now this one you have to be really careful because if you get too much glue in there, it'll go down and hit this valve. may have to cut it first. I don't know if I got enough height. No, I don't. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it right about here. Trying to work under this tent for both the sun and the rain. Got sand all over my glue. And now then you can tell, that tells me where to cut this pipe. The way that the pipe fits is where the two cross each other. That's exactly where you want to cut. I've got a Sharpie here. This crosses right here on this side, and then this crosses right here on the bottom. So that's where I cut these two pieces of pipe. Might look short, but I'm going to lift it up a little bit. I don't know if I can lift it up that much. There's water out of my eyes. Alright, so this one would cut here. Gonna prime these up. Need to hurry. I hear thunder. Got our next rainstorm's coming. It's going to be easier to put it on this one and then slide it onto the larger one. Not bad. All right, now we're ready to just cut a small piece and put our cap on here, and then we'll be able to open this valve and this valve whenever we want water. Gonna have to hurry and get the camera out of the rain. It's starting to sprinkle. And that's going to be these two pieces. I'm going to go ahead and put the Teflon tape on it. I'm trying to rush, starting to sprinkle pretty good, and the camera's out in the rain. I'm underneath the cover. And then I'll reload the camera back under the cover, and then we'll look over at this side and look at using mechanical pressure. Now this piece, all this is right here is for an external, so we can do an external filter, big filter that can really make this water really pretty. It won't do anything with bacteria, but it'll do a lot for the sedimentation. Gonna make it real clear, make it look like you want to drink it, and then all we're gonna do is put this cap on. and we're in good shape. Now, one of the things that we have to look at, and you want to make sure that this is good and watertight, because we have all this pressure in here, and we have a 1-inch column of water. This pressure is going to push down and want to push back up in here, and it may even create a siphon and start circulating. All right, we'll let all that dry. The rain's starting to come down pretty good again. I'm going to move the camera over to a new location so that we can look at how we're going to hook all this up over on this side.